Hello, everybody, and welcome to Harry and Jen Do Horror with Friends. This week, we're joined by my buddy Austin Kiley to analyze and critique Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, starring Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton, and Jenna Ortega, directed by Tim Burton. We talk about the Tim Burton aesthetic, legacy sequels, Soul Train, and Catherine O'Hara's status as a national treasure. You should know that on this podcast, we completely spoil our movies, so if you haven't seen Beetlejuice 2 yet, you should be sure to check that out first. Before we proceed, I want to give a little shout out to Quad Pro Quo, a hilarious movies podcast featuring our friend Allison, who joined us for last month's episode about Oddity. We had a delightful episode talking about that excellent movie, and if you haven't seen Oddity or heard our conversation yet, you really should. Oddity is a blast. Allison is super fun, and after you hear our show, go scope out Quad Pro Quo as well. As always, if you have a minute, we welcome ratings and reviews on your podcast streaming services. However, the best is when people actually share these episodes with their horror enthusiast friends. We'd love your help growing the show in any way you like if you have the time. Next month, we will discuss The Substance, directed by Coralie Farjat. It stars Demi Moore as an aging actress desperate for renewal. Scope that movie on Mubi or Amazon to get ready for it. It's a ride. For now, here's Austin to discuss Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Dear listener, I want you to know something really embarrassing about myself, and Harry knows what this is. I liked the finale to How I Met Your Mother.
I don't remember it.
I know that I'm wrong.
I'm Harry Nichols. I am a singer-songwriter. I am an English teacher. And I am coming to you live and direct in my pajamas on my couch to tell you that Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah is not a Christmas song. This is a hill that I'm willing to die on. And I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
I saw your story about that today.
Yeah.
It is not just because it has the name Hallelujah.
Just because it has the word hallelujah in it. Nobody listens to any of the other words.
No.
Well, it's because people changed the words
Yeah.
and made up their own. Leonard Cohen wrote like 17 different verses, and people were like, you know what? We need 3 more.
Just
make
add
them
'em.
about Jesus.
Make them about Jesus.
No. All right. I am Jen Lightfoot. I'm an artist and tattoo artist. And this is the first podcast that we're recording on a couch.
I know.
Like we all have stuffed animals, we all have alcohol, and we are all on a couch. It's fantastic.
It feels like a dream come true.
It does.
I don't know how you feel about it.
I feel like this is the start to a new year of podcasting.
So true.
In comfort.
That's right. Where we just revert and get more and more comfortable.
Yes.
As we go.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start podcasting from like blanket forts and shit.
Yes.
And like, yes. I'm actually 100% into that.
I'm good with it. Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
Well, hi there. I'm Austin Kiley. I am a high school music teacher, music and theater and stuff. And I have never been on a podcast before. What? I've barely even listened to podcasts.
Oh.
Although I did watch Only Murders.
Oh, yeah, sure. So you're familiar with podcasts.
I'm aware.
And whose friend are you?
I'm your friend.
You're my friend, that's right. Yeah.
So wait, how did you guys meet?
Well,
You tell it,
so Harry fell from the sky one day. His angel wings. No, we went to college together. We made dumb mouth sounds in an a cappella group called
So
Ithaca
you guys
Pella.
were both in. Wait, say the name of it again.
Ithaca Pella.
Okay, everyone, go on Spotify. I'll put them in the Instagram stories.
I mean, I will allow it in the spirit.
In the spirit of Hallelujah Christmas.
That's right. You can hear both Austin and my mellifluous voice on your favorite streaming service. Anyway, cool. So we are here chatting it up about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. We start things off usually with a quick summary. So, Austin Schmalston, can you summarize Beetlejuice Beetlejuice for us?
Well, I can sure try. How quick of a summary do you want?
Whatever you want. Some
Yeah.
people give us like a sentence, and some people give us like a scene by scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very
Okay. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is the sequel to Beetlejuice. Period.
just
That's it. Whole plot done.
All right, cool. All right, next question.
and we're on.
So the movie starts, and it is however many years in the future we actually are since Beetlejuice, the first movie, happened. And now Winona Ryder is all, old and crazy, and Catherine O'Hara is exactly as she has always been, and not changed at all. And basically we find out that the father/husband died in a
shark attack.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
There was a plane crash,
Yeah.
and then he saved people's lives, and then was okay, and then a shark bit his head off.
Right.
Yes.
So then we go back to the original house, and it's Catherine O'Hara. I don't know their actual names.
Oh, Delia.
Delia.
They're the Dietzes.
The Dietzes. Well, that's funny,
That
Harry.
is funny.
Why is that funny to us, Harry?
So Lee, this is a joke for just you and me and one other person.
Yeah, well, that
But
one
now
other
the
person
rest
might
of the
listen
world.
to this podcast.
That's definitely true.
It'll be worth it. So then we go back to the like childhood Beetlejuice house for memorial, funeral type things. Lydia has a daughter, which is Jenna
Ortega.
Ortega. She was great. She did a great job. And basically, Beetlejuice is trying to get back with Lydia, but also Beetlejuice's ex-wife shows up.
Yeah, from like hundreds of years before,
Yes.
right? Like,
yeah.
And she's in pieces, and she staples herself together and is like real life Sally.
Yes, I thought that too, like Goth
She
Sally.
looked exactly like, this
Goth
is like
Sally?
just a real life version of...
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
And that plot point doesn't really...
We'll
We'll
get there.
Yeah.
All right. Don't want to spoil things as I give the plot summary.
I mean, you can fully spoil this plot. We just
Okay.
we usually start critiquing it at a certain. We switch to critique mode at a certain point.
Yeah.
let me turn that part of myself off. So she is trying to get revenge on Beetlejuice for killing her initially, although she also killed him. They killed each other.
Yeah.
Lydia has a man in her life. She also runs a Speaking to Ghosts TV show, and he's the producer of that. Beetlejuice thrusts himself into our lives again,
Once again.
but then is called back to save Lydia's daughter, Jenna Ortega, from a ghost teen that she was kind of starting to date, who traded... He tricked her into trading her life for his, and he was also a serial killer of his own parents. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of a... No, never mind. I'm not going to say it. This is hard. So yeah, we go into the weird Tim Burton underworld thing. And there's a soul train, and then everything's fine in the end, except more people are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
But even like a little bit happily dead, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the underworld's a much cooler place.
100%. So this actually leads me to my first question for you both, which I assume you have both seen the original film.
Yes. I was going to rewatch it, but then I didn't.
That's okay.
But I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, you remember it.
In my youth.
So, like, my question is, I mean, I love the original movie. I don't know how you all felt about it. What is so alluring about Tim Burton's world that he's created for Beetlejuice?
I was actually just talking about this the other day.
Really?
Yeah. So I looked at his filmography, and Beetlejuice was his second film.
Oh, okay.
Technically, I think the first that shows us his world, because the first one was Pee-wee Herman's, whatever it is, the Pee-wee movie.
Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure?
Yep.
That's a Tim Burton movie?
Isn't that crazy?
Whoa.
But so that was his first. So the Beetlejuice was his second. So it's the first time we see like the black and white stripes, the purple and green colors, the like weird little goth girl, the like stop animation stuff, like the sandworms. Yeah. And I feel like I rewatched it. I was like, yeah, this is a fun movie. I can see why at the time it's such a classic. It was for like all the little goth kids out there and like but I feel like throughout the years it has just become about the aesthetic and not about, because Beetlejuice is this falling into critique?
It is. But so, let me pause you though, because you mentioned the aesthetic. What about the aesthetic do you think like calls to people like
I don't. Okay. Was there anything else at the time? Because it's like 1988, I think.
Yeah, the first one,
that did goth in that way. Or did that goth at all? Because we had the Breakfast Club, but I don't count that because Ali Sheedy was basically told, oh, when you're like alternative, you're ugly, so we'll turn you into like a pop princess and then you'll be pretty. So like, was there anything at the time that you could be like, oh, I want to be like her?
It like celebrated goth.
Yeah, like the craft wasn't a thing until the 90s. Like, I feel like it was like new.
Yeah.
To see something like goth, but also kind of like colorful at the same time.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like if Rankin Bass did horror. You know, like the old like claymation.
Oh yeah.
Christmas movies.
Yes.
It's like it's this weird conglomeration of like, oh, this is like for kids, and it's also like very like pencil sketch esque.
Yes. Yeah.
And so like that nostalgia is built into it initially, which is I think really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it feels like that family friendly thing, but that if you're a teenager you can also be like, no, this is just for me, or like I don't know. Yeah.
I also I'm really fond of and I think we've talked about this before, but I love depictions of the underworld that make it look, or it make it seem in some ways like exactly the same as our world. So like I loved in the first movie like the like waiting room and the like, you know, you take a number and you're like number 4 million or whatever. Right, and there's just like somebody behind the desk that's like, okay, sweetie, like, right, like I find that so funny and tickling, and like also kind of subversive because right, the afterlife is supposed to be like this big, like profound thing, but it feels like in Tim Burton's world, it's like just the same shit where there's like, you know, bureaucracy and swindlers who are like going around the bureaucracy and trying to, you know, get what they want that way. And so I guess that's what calls to me about it. Turning to Beetlejuice 2, are we in the same world as Beetlejuice 1? Does it feel the same to you all?
I do think it feels like the same world. Yeah. Even though it's how many years later?
36. It's
That's
as old as I am.
Insane. That's an insane thing.
You're old.
Fuck off. What are you, 34?
No, I'm 35.
Fuck.
I'm the oldest one in the room.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm 40.
You're 40?
Yeah.
Fuck. Your birthday, dear listener, I missed Jen's birthday recently. And found out only afterwards through social media that she had her birthday.
To be fair, I don't tell people.
And it turned out I missed your 40th fucking birthday. Christ on a biscuit.
Oh my God. It's not that big of a deal. It's fine. But wait, where was this question going?
It was about do we feel like the new movie lives in the same world that the old movie did?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, there are obviously like the visual aesthetic things that we were just talking about are in there. And there are a lot of callbacks to the original movie. Yeah. But for me, it was right off the bat the music, right? Because the music, like the Danny Elfman stuff, is so iconic and so recognizable and gives you the feels.
It does. And I watched both of them this week. The font is the same. So the font they use in the 80s one with the glow around it is the same one in this.
Yep.
Right.
And it still works.
Yeah, I really liked in the beginning. It's like the music started. It did the whole, start. But then the Beetlejuice logo, like from the original movie, shows up, and then it's the stop animation of its, mitosing into Beetlejuice with the music, and that was like, oh, this is everything. This is definitely the world.
Yes, I felt like it was. Oh, God, we're just hot. We're just gonna. Critique is going to creep in. Whatever.
We're just going to blow this critiquey load. Let's
it's
just go.
hard with like a nostalgic film to like not critique a little.
You're right.
Because like I feel like, yeah, that whole opening felt like this is for new people, but also this is for like the fans of the original. Like it felt like it was doing something to like welcome you back in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harry's like, let's get to analysis.
No. I'm just deciding what I want to say about that. Like, I feel like all of those things are the easiest things to replicate. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard to put the same font up there. It's not hard to, use the Danny Elfman score that is the same score from the first movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... I don't know. Those things feel superficial to me. I feel like on a deeper, like, story driven level, it's not like, yes, it's obviously set in the same world. It's like the underworld. It's the house. Like, I just feel like it's not the same like kind of story.
It's not
as the first one,
and it couldn't be. I mean, have you gone back and watched any 80s movies that you loved recently?
I rewatched Beetlejuice.
But I mean, like...
Ghostbusters does it?
Yes. Ghostbusters. Like, right, you watch these movies that we all know are amazing movies, and we watch them now, even us, and we're like... We get bored, and the pacing's so different. It just all... movies have changed a lot, and what we like in movies has changed a lot with society and technology and everything like that. And it's not just like Gen Z doesn't have the focus. It's like if I watch an old movie that I liked, then I still like it. If I watch an old movie I've never seen before,
right,
I'm more likely to not appreciate it.
Interesting.
So you feel like a story such as the first Beetlejuice, or something more spiritually akin to that, like, wouldn't play today, basically?
Well, because it's already been done. Okay. And that was so much a part of it, is like, this is unique, this is cool, this is, very all over the place.
So, yeah.
But now it's like, so this movie, I think there were a lot of good... I mean, yes, this is just like a big overall critique. There were a lot of really good things about this movie, but it was kind of doomed regardless of what they did. Because it was either going to feel like, oh, we're just copying it, or, oh, we're just doing lip service, or whatever. Or it's like, oh, this doesn't feel like the same world anymore. So I think they did an okay job walking that line, but a lot of things were like, oh, this is just here because they needed to put it here.
What are some of those things?
Yeah, what would be like...
Well, we talk about the music, we talk about the like stop motion kind of stuff. The Danny DeVito, like, Blue Man Group zombie thing. I loved that. I feel like the whole beginning of the movie to me was where they really nailed it the most, right? And I you like see Danny DeVito from behind, and you're like, is that fucking Danny DeVito?
I know, I loved it.
Right.
And then it is, and you're like, yes.
And then he's like drinking Drano.
Yes,
and then, like,
I was so sad he died so quickly.
Yeah.
I
He
wanted more
he
of
could
him.
have. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like, wait, when you say beginning of movie, do you feel like that's before she meets the teenage boy?
I mean, I would definitely say before that.
Okay.
I don't know if I would consider the beginning of what I'm talking about with like it feeling like
Okay.
like that same kind of magic as lasting that long, but that was at least there was a lot of that like new elements of the world that worked well for me in the beginning, and then eventually it was like, okay, now we're just kind of doing
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it did feel like, because he was trying to marry her again. But I did want to say with like things, the movies, like how they hold up over time, or how if they can be done today or not, or appreciated today. Part of me thinks one of the things, and they took it out, and I think they needed to, was in the original Beetlejuice, he's gross. Like he grabs Barbara or Gina Davis's like crotch. He lifts up her skirt with a stick. He he's just, and it's the same thing with Ghostbusters. Basically, Bill Murray is like sexually assaulting Sigourney Weaver the whole time.
And I just watched that like a couple
Did
weeks
you?
ago, and so and the whole time I was like, wow,
Right?
jeez.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up too, and I think maybe this is why I feel like there's something just out of character about this movie.
Were you
to
like,
me.
I want more sexual assault in my Beetlejuice sequel?
Well, you know,
Harry's
kind
kids.
of. No, but like, look, man, I think that we are not supposed to take Beetlejuice as a representation of like morality here, right? He's a
No, we're not.
scumbag.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be disgusting and depraved, and I think that, like, you know, I think a lot of what didn't quite make sense about his like ex-wife pursuing him would have made more sense to me if he was still just that like scummy, rapey, like lecherous fiend, right? Like, because then there would have been like a sense of like some kind of retribution, right? Like where he's like running away from this female figure instead of like constantly pursuing female figures around him. Like there was something that was just missing from it for me.
And she was very clearly the bad guy of the
Yeah.
film,
Right.
Which I mean,
she's
she was
barely in
bad.
it.
She is barely in
Yeah,
it.
that's a critique. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
for
get-
sure. Yeah.
Clearly, we all have issues.
but what a missed opportunity for exactly what you're talking about of like, you know, start with him still being that like overly sexist pig.
Right.
I think that he was more disgusting in this movie. Just in
Oh, just like in a disgusting
Yes.
way? Okay.
like the like spilling the guts and the vomiting and everything with the baby.
The baby's so cute.
The baby stuff made me feel physically ill.
Yeah.
What?
So,
I thought the
like,
baby was so cute. I was like, I want to squish it.
I was like, this is not okay for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get affected like this. But I was like, I couldn't watch. I like literally like looked away.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is so disgusting.
Yeah.
And in my recollection of the original Beetlejuice, it isn't that disgusting.
No.
He's more depraved. He's
Right.
like, you know, more villainous.
He's a perv. Like,
Yeah.
he's just pervier. Yeah.
But I feel like if they could have started with more of that in the beginning, and then she's coming after him, then more like, and then, you know, he at least like tries to change because of that. But it's just kind of like he's the same old, but he doesn't show the stuff because it's 2024 and the
Right.
producers didn't
Yeah, I
want
mean,
it to
definitely
happen.
wouldn't play well with younger people now. I don't want him to have an arc
Yeah.
where he like
okay.
becomes nice. I
Oh
actually,
no, I don't want him to learn anything.
or I don't
just-
want him to like learn anything. I actually, we're dancing along the edge. Should we
let's do
say
it.
stuff about Monica Bellucci?
Sure. Yeah.
Because her character just felt like, okay, I don't know if they're still together, but I thought that she and Tim Burton were together at one point.
Oh, interesting.
He always puts his like love interest in
Helena.
movies.
I have noticed that.
And I was like, okay, so he thought it would be cool to make a real life goth Sally who serves no purpose in the movie. I was like, the plot, there are too many plots. I thought that was a great sequel for like 36 years later, and it's fun and enjoyable, but holy shit, just cut her plot out. I liked the backstory. I thought it was great, but if you're not going to fucking use it more in the movie, don't do it.
It's like you develop this thing that's super cool. It has so much potential, and she's just completely 100% not a part of any of the rest of the plot lines.
Yes.
Until the end when she like... I don't even remember.
She just comes in.
She comes in and it stops something else from happening.
Yeah, she just comes in and interrupts the wedding at the end, basically. Right? That's like that's like her whole purpose in this whole movie. Like that's like, or that's the like that's the impact that she has on like the main plot is like that's it.
So talking about, you know, trying to avoid the sexism of the 80s,
right?
This is arguably worse sexism. Right,
That's
you add this female character who's just a device, and who's been like scorned, spurred. Well, I don't know what the words are hard by Beetlejuice hundreds of years ago, but like nothing interesting comes.
No,
of
she's
it.
just a sex object in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump ship to another ism for a second. But the Soul Train, have you all followed the controversy surrounding the Soul Train?
Well, I actually, okay, so I watched this movie twice. And I was Googling before I got here, Beetlejuice, racist? Because I felt like there's no people of color in the movie. Except
weird.
then you've got Soul Train. And also the laundromat, which is... I don't know, owned by, or there's an employee who's Asian, which feels racist as well.
Right. Definitely felt like
stereotype.
A character.
Yeah, stereotype. And I was like, this is what you did. And they end with the Soul Train thing too. Like they bring it back. It's in there twice.
Yeah. Also, the first time it happened, I was like, that was the moment where I was like, okay, everyone involved in this was very clearly on drugs. And they just, the first ideas that happened, they were like, yes, and they just added them all in. And I was like what the hell is happening here? This is just like a crazy version of transporting people in hell.
Right.
And then eventually they said the line Soul Train. I was like, oh.
Well, it's a joke about... So there was a show called
in the
Soul Train.
70s.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like featured, you know, black people and black
But it was like
culture,
a
black
empowering... I was reading about the show, and it was like empowering... for black people, and like at the time when it came out, and it just felt this was like a
It's using it
joke or
as
something
for
at
a
it.
punchline.
Yeah,
using the punchline and using it, it feels like to shoehorn people of color into the movie because something that Tim Burton has been criticized for is for like only casting white people.
Yes,
because that's his aesthetic. He's like a pasty white goth.
But this is the problem with goth culture. As a person who
was once
goth, like it's unfortunate. Like there are a lot of people of color who are goth, but the goth community, some of it is very welcoming and other parts are not. And I feel like Tim Burton, in a way, is saying like, oh no, it's not welcome.
Yeah.
Like, because the Soul Train thing is also people of color dressed up like they're in 1970s disco with like afros, which also feels racist. Like, it's like the only people of color are people in bell bottoms with afros. Like, it's like characters. Yeah.
So we've asserted that it's like somehow more sexist than the original, right? It's like racially problematic in some ways. Anybody else have like topics, questions that you want to bring up? Feelings?
I just want to note that Brad Pitt was an executive producer.
What?
Really?
So in the beginning, I'm watching the thing. I'm like, oh, yeah. Wait, did that say Brad Pitt?
Oh my God. He's a shitty person.
Really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Like all his children are disowning him. Speaking of shitty people,
Go
so
on.
do you guys know the reason why the original father, was not in it and was stop animated.
Oh no!
So
What did he do?
What was his name? What is your name? Jones is his last name. What is his first name? Jeffrey Jones? Was that it? Oh my God! Why are we not remembering anyone's names tonight?
That's a
Jeffrey
guess.
Jones. Yes, that was it. Okay. So he was arrested in 2002 for possession of child sexual abuse material.
No.
And soliciting a 14-year-old boy to produce images for him. Yep.
Yeah, when it went to the stop animation or the like actual animation thing of him dying, it definitely felt like there's a reason.
He's just not
Yeah.
just in
Like
it.
there is a clear reason that they're not showing the person.
Yes, and I loved the stop animation part.
Yeah.
I thought that was great because I was like, it's weird.
It's
it
fun
has
to
that
have
like
the change of style and yeah.
yes, and I never remember who did the Christmas animations. You said it earlier, but it had that vibe to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, that's a smart way to get rid of them.
Yeah. But it was like someone did this on purpose.
Yes, yeah,
I was like,
100%.
this was not an artistic choice.
No, he's like he's a registered sex offender.
Sex offender. Wow, I didn't know that about him. Bummer, dude. Listening to his crimes made me make my door sounds, which is like, yeah. I wondered if anyone else. I felt like I was picking up like a little bit in this movie. Nothing like major or overt, but like just a little bit of like a winking, like meta joke about making a sequel to Beetlejuice. Like there's something in this movie about like like it's a sequel to Beetlejuice that they made 36 years after the original. There's like no at this point in where we are in like sequel land where everything is a sequel to some other thing that existed probably like 40 years ago. Like I feel like there's no more like trying to mask that this is anything other than like a cash grab. Basically, right? Cashing in on nostalgia, cashing in like so I felt like there was like something a little bit in this movie about trying to kind of rebottle the magic, if you will. Like there's the opening music even before the Danny Elfman, beep, 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 right? Even before that, what we hear is MacArthur Park, which is obviously prelude to what happens like at the end, or a foreshadowing to what happens at the end. But the exact line you hear is, "I'll never have that recipe again," which to me sounds like a it's like I'll never get that again. And then there's just so much in this movie too about like, so Delia Dietz is like trying to monetize and create something she can sell out of her husband's death for this whole movie, right? And like her whole character arc is about taking this thing that only happens to a person one time, right? And turning it into something that she can, turning it into a product essentially, right? So it's like taking this idea of like something that's really special, right? But something that it just, gets kind of cranked out.
Do you feel this way about Winona Ryder's job? Like,
yeah. I think Winona's doing the same thing, right? She's got this thing that's really special about her. She can speak to the dead, and yet she's turned it into this kind of daytime TV show where even now she's faking it too, right? She's not actually communing with the dead on this show. She's just,
So, also, like one of the things that I thought was the special effects, all the practical effects, and the stop motion stuff is so cool. I'm so happy they're doing it, and I didn't understand until you just said that. The one time that the special effects are really terribly done, like computer animated stuff, is when the asps kill Catherine O'Hara's character.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that perfectly lines up with what you're saying of like, she's sitting at his grave, recording herself having these fake emotions with these asps to like pay tribute to this ancient thing. And and she's like, "Oh yeah, they've been like the fangs have been removed. They're safe." And then like she's holding them, and I'm just sitting there like, it's 2024. How could those possibly look this bad? And then they bite her, and then I'm like, wow, bold move, killing Catherine O'Hara. Okay.
Right.
But that totally fits with that.
Well, and to come back to that scene, right before she gets bitten, she gives this ridiculous prayer.
Yes.
Which is the lines she reads are King of Commerce, Knights of NASDAQ. Let him into your realm. So it's like this prayer for monetary reward. Again, all just stemming from this authentic thing that should be a thing that you, I don't know, just not try to monopolize on in such a huge way.
It should be revered.
Yeah, it should be revered.
It's something that meant a lot to people.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's fascinating how the characters lend themselves so well to like play that metaphor throughout the film. Like it's like it's the same characters from the original film, and somehow they're like able to say this, you know, thing.
And it does make sense. I guess the question is like, so if a movie is communicating that its own existence is kind of bullshit, does that make it a good movie?
I don't know if it's aware, to be honest with you.
You don't think so?
No, I think this is like a really interesting analysis, but I don't think Tim Burton's aware of this.
It's a hot take.
I don't
This
think
would be a great thing to do in like, I don't know, like an 11th grade English class.
Do we know any 11th grade English teachers?
Where are we going to get 11th grade English teacher at this hour?
The people who wrote it are like, fucking English teachers.
Fucking analyzing everything.
Except there's like that one writer who was like, this guy gets it.
Right.
And he was an English major.
So you don't feel like... So wait. I want to roll it back just 1 second. Contextualize for a second. I feel like, again, we're in the era of the sequel, the legacy sequel, the proliferation of intellectual properties until they are dead in the ground, right? And I think I've seen a couple of films that are actually like not true faith sequels to their own. Like, did you see the fourth Matrix?
No.
Didn't watch it.
Wait, no, I did, but I remember nothing from it because I barely paid attention.
The Matrix 4, I actually truly believe is not a true faith sequel to The Matrix, but I think that it is an enormous joke played on its audience.
What?
I actually do think this.
Oh my god.
Well, that actually makes sense with the whichever one of the sisters.
Lana
or
Wachowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was like,
Yeah.
you know, you get it.
Yeah.
Listener, you get it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to claim that, like, this movie is like that. I just, like, wondered if... I guess I just have a more philosophical question about whether that sort of self-knowing wink gives a movie more value than it would have otherwise had.
I don't think it's... I don't think you should look at it in terms of the, like, quantity of value, right? I don't think it's about more value, but it gives it a different kind of value that I think, like, I really appreciate. Like, when you just said that stuff, I was like, oh, cool. And I like the movie more. I don't think it's a better movie because of it,
Right.
but I enjoy its existence.
Yeah.
Because there's like more to think about with it, or pick apart, or think about as you watch it each time.
Yep. And also, like, you know, watching Catherine O'Hara, you know, I'm sitting there, and this is everything that she does, but I'm watching it, and I'm like, her acting is so bad, but very clearly done on purpose, and she's a genius.
Yeah.
She's a genius,
Right?
and she knows exactly. So that's another thing.
She does.
That Beetlejuice, especially the sequel, are campy.
Yeah.
They're campy movies. She gets camp.
She does.
She gets it 100%. I think that Winona Ryder kind of did the wink wink, kind of knew what movie she was into. I think the teenage boy did not. I think he was playing it too serious.
He felt totally... It didn't feel like the same... Yes.
Like he wasn't in the world with it. Yeah. I just felt like some of the other characters got it. I felt like, what's his fight? I want to say Joaquin Phoenix, and that's not right. Who's the...
Steven Seagal guy?
No, the guy who is gonna marry Lydia,
Yeah.
The Steven Seagal guy.
not her ex-husband,
No,
No, the one who
the fiance.
the fiance. Yeah, what is his name?
Steven Seagal.
Okay, that dude, that one that none of us can remember his name. Justin Theroux. That's it.
So who wants to go first? Should we rate this?
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
You're thinking?
I'm thinking.
I'll go first then. I'll venture. I think that I want to give this... I think I want to give this like a 4.
Oh, damn.
I didn't like it, man. I was bored. That's first and foremost the biggest problem, is that I was bored. There were many times where I was like checking my phone, being like, how much longer is this movie? And it's not a long movie. It's an hour and 40 minutes.
Too long.
It's a very reasonable length, but
I think it's too long.
Yeah. I just have such a distaste, and this is maybe not the movie's fault. I just have a distaste for where we are in like the sequel world, where everything is based on some pre-existing intellectual property, and there are no new ideas. I thought that the Beetlejuice world that we were given was either A, completely derived from things that we've already seen before in Beetlejuice, or just like really tamped down in like a very boring way. I hated the idea of Beetlejuice no longer being like a swindler, loner, scumbag, and now running a department of bio exorcists, right? Like, just like he kind of like becomes the part of the bureaucracy now that he like was intentionally subverted in the first film. That it just makes it less fun to me, less interesting, less special seeming. And then of course, I mean, there is the whole narrative with his ex-wife, which is like presented as this big thing but ultimately turns into nothing. And it just the whole it's a whole pile of to me.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is this the lowest you've ever rated something?
No, I have also rated something. I rated
Long Legs?
No, I rated Bad Things out of 4.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's the
All right.
lowest rating I've ever given.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Wow.
Again, it might be me. It's not to say that it was 100% miserable. Like, there were parts of it that I chuckled at. As I mentioned, Catherine O'Hara is a national treasure, and I would watch her forever. If the movie was just her character, I would maybe be more into it.
Yeah, I will watch Catherine O'Hara in anything. I love her. She's fantastic. I might surprise you.
Oh, God. Is it going to be like a 9?
No!
Okay, good.
No. That only goes to things like Skinamarink. So, no, I thought this was fun. I mean, I think it's like a fun sequel. I actually think it had the right vibes for a Beetlejuice sequel. I think it's one of the better things that Tim Burton has done in a long time. I think a lot of the past few films he's done over the past whatever years have been crap. I did enjoy Wednesday, but I don't know how much involvement he had with that. And also, it's fun, but I'm never going to need to rewatch Wednesday.
I didn't like Wednesday.
It's like a tween thing. I thought it's like, this is cute and like fun. I wanted more. Oh my God, can I not remember anyone's name? The woman that plays Morticia.
Oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, because she was hot. So I thought the effects and animation was great, but as we've said, I feel like there were too many fucking plot points. Why were there so many plots? And why did so many of them not matter? So that really bothered me. I do think it was too long. 20 minutes too long. Cut this shit. I give it I'm going to give it a 6.5 though.
Okay.
Because I really thought it was fun. I think the first Beetlejuice would get like a 6.5 from me too.
Oh, okay.
Like, I really like the first Beetlejuice, but like, it's not like a movie I want to watch all the time.
Gotcha. I would give the first Beetlejuice like
maybe a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah, maybe I'd give it a 7.
Like,
I changed my mind. I give it a 7.
that first one is really fun. The part where the shrimp comes out of the bowl and grabs the dude's face.
That's true. That is great.
Sorry.
No, but I think the first one has a problem too, where it drags a bit towards the end. I think Tim Burton is great at vibes and aesthetic and character. I do not think he's great at pacing or structuring a plot.
Which is why Nightmare Before Christmas was so good.
Yes, because he did the
had
characters,
nothing to
but
do with it
not the
after
direction.
coming up with the stuff.
Yes, yep. Yeah, we always forget that wasn't him. I feel so bad for the director that did it because I still don't remember.
Because it says Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before
does,
Christmas.
and it's like, no,
top.
you just came up with the characters. That was it.
Yep.
Great characters.
They are great
They are
characters.
good characters. I'll give it that.
I agree with everything you've both said.
You're so agreeable.
I am pretty agreeable. I agree with you on that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
Which, because I think Harry, I agree with everything that you said. I just think I'm more optimistic about things than you are, and I choose to enjoy.
We tend to have opposite opinions on a lot of things, actually.
I don't think a 4 and a 6 is that drastically different.
Dear listener, I want you to know something really embarrassing about myself, and Harry knows what this is. I liked the finale to How I Met Your Mother.
I don't
And
remember
I know
it.
that I'm wrong.
Wait, I don't remember.
But I really deeply appreciated it, even with all the things that were disappointing about it. And so that I think that I decide that I'm gonna like something, and then I like it even if it's trash.
Wait, did you like the ending of Lost?
For Lost, I watched the first season and the last season and nothing in between.
What?
And Harry, I was with you for the last season,
You were, yeah.
so I kept asking questions, and you guys would say
It was very annoying.
the answer to every single one of my questions was smoke monster.
Well, I mean, that's a Lost problem. That's not a...
Yeah, okay.
That's not
Anyway.
a me problem.
How'd we get here?
Well, we're talking about your backwards and incorrect
Yeah.
tastes.
So anyway,
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
This podcast is about to get heated.
I'm gonna give it a 6, which I think is low for me, but I'm trying to rate it realistically. I did enjoy it. I was kind of bored. The one line from the movie that sums up the movie the best for me is when Jenna Ortega says, "I swear the afterlife is so random." And that was exactly how this movie was. It was random to the point of taking me out of the story. And like you were saying, the ex-wife thing, she comes in and that's dealt with too easily and has no real bearing. The serial killer teen ghosts, after Beetlejuice just pushed a button and he Austin Powers him down into a volcano.
Right.
And it was just was that seriously all he...
That's how we're doing this.
That was
yeah.
the whole thing? And it was very much so climactic.
Climactic. Yeah.
It was also anticlimactic. There was no weather. Because they were in hell.
Yeah, they're in hell. There's no weather down there.
But yeah, I feel like it was a movie that was fun.
Yeah.
It had some really great fun things about it. It was too disjointed. They had too many ideas that they liked, and they should have made it simpler and stuck with, I don't know, maybe 8 ideas instead of the 34 that they went with.
You know what's an idea that we have? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Oh, that's okay. I think that the analysis of it being meta, to me, bumps it up a little bit higher, because I think that's cool. So, good job, movie people.
Well, I think if that was in there and they wanted to do something real with it, they should have done something more with it.
But that's
right?
why I don't think that they
Yeah.
I don't think
They
Tim
didn't
Burton
really mean
knew.
to do that, yeah.
So you're saying that it's The Room.
This room specifically,
N-
reading that.
Like the movie The Room.
Oh,
Where he tried to do something really good, and then everyone was like, "This is hilarious," and he was like, "Yes, this is a comedy."
no!
little
I mean, this is not as.
No, it's not as much, but like
Yeah.
the reaction to it of like, "Oh yeah, we were doing that. We knew
It's a comedy. We meant to do that. Yes, of course. I don't know. I mean, he might have intended to put some of those things in there. I guess my frustration with it is my frustration with every other plot or through line of this movie, which is just a lack of development. I mean, it just doesn't. We get a couple of interesting like nods and maybe side winks and jokes about how hard it is to rebottle the magic and make a sequel to a 36-year-old movie, but we're not given any kind of real commentary or thematic material about, Okay, what's the takeaway from that, though?
I still think a sequel to a 36-year-old movie, I do think it's one of the better ones that we've seen. I can't say I mean, a lot of them have tried to do it. Ghostbusters is one. It's a unpopular opinion, but I think the one with all women is the best one that did it.
Oh, all right.
I think the other ones are not great. But I feel like
I've seen the old ones, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there were two old ones,
two
right?
old ones.
Okay, I'm like, shit, am I missing the third one? But I feel like I'm trying to think of like Scream. There were the Scream sequels. I enjoyed this more than the Scream sequels.
Oh.
Like, I think that because it is fun.
It's fun.
It has I would watch this any day over one of the Scream 5 or 6.
I'm not sure I agree with that. But I mean, that's your opinion.
And
so you can
hilariously,
have that.
Janet Ortega's in all of
In
them.
all of it, yeah, it's true. Scream Queen.
I can't think of other ones that do it at the moment that have been yeah.
Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh,
Oh
there you go.
shit, I forgot about that one.
So here, Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2048. Actually, 2048 is as good as Blade Runner. Which is it's a pretty big statement, but I think it fairly. I think it's fairly supportable. But you're right; it's not often done. Where the sequel, so many years later, so clearly just an attempt at cashing in on some nostalgia.
Indiana Jones. And a good example of how terrible this
How
was.
bad that's gotten.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, what is it?
I mean, Star Wars.
Oh,
Kingdom of the it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or whatever. Like how bad that was. It's like we're bringing back Indiana Jones. It was really bad.
Indiana
This isn't anywhere near that bad.
Right. No, it's not. It's not.
It's much more
competent.
successful.
It's more competent.
it is, and I was like, oh, even though everyone's older, I was like, I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
I'm good with this.
Yeah. I when I finished watching this movie, Kat, my wife, who for the dear listener, I know you both know who that is. Asked me how it was. She had been watching her own thing on her iPad, and I said it was adequate. I feel like that really sums up what this movie was.
Yeah.
So we like to play a game. I want to play a game.
I like games.
Thank you. Called Who's the Hottest?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Should we talk about who's the hottest? In
This one, I usually wing it.
Oh, you.
This one I decided to write down
premeditated.
because it was like there's so many effing characters, and
Yes.
of course
Yes.
Dolores, which is Monica Bellucci's character, 100%.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
And that's
great.
the Sally of it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can tell. It's the Sally.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
For me, there's a clear answer here. And it is the woman sitting. Oh, wait. Okay, I wrote down this line. What was it? It was my favorite thing in the whole movie. And it was. Oh, side note, the music was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really all over the place too. And I was like, okay, at least the music matches, but the Sigur thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, good job. Oh, the Say Cheese girl. Best part in the movie.
Say cheese,
Wait,
bro.
what?
She's like a zombie girl who's like one of the like secretary people. And when they're at the window and they're getting him his passport to go back, and she just like she had like 3 lines.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is what I want.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say she was the hottest for me.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna go and say, and this brings up a whole part of this movie. Talk about a movie of just like dropped ideas,
If
right?
you say Beetlejuice, I swear to God.
No,
I know.
no.
I was thinking that too.
I'm not gonna say Beetlejuice. I am gonna say Willem Dafoe's secretary, who like always pops in with like a line.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's just this like very like I don't know, and like it's just kind of funny to me that like his character is fucking nothing in this movie. Like it like
He was great.
He was fine. But
He was
what
he was
it
just
for?
him. I don't know. Nothing.
Nothing.
But I really like. I noticed myself paying more attention whenever he was on, of just like analyzing the things. I'm like, look at his makeup. Like
His makeup,
he said that.
I did like his makeup, that like weird head
His, like, brain was
thing.
coming out of it.
Except the whole military thing at the end when he comes, and I was like, and I'm bored because I was like, I don't
agree.
care about military shit, and why is it like what's happening?
Yeah.
Well,
was
that's
weird.
all synced up to MacArthur Park. Those are all like parts of with the like bum bum.
So okay, so I knew the song MacArthur Park,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know
Yeah,
what it is
educate
in
us.
reference to. Yeah, tell us, Harry.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, so that whole sequence, the MacArthur Park sequence is obviously they're just doing the Deo.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
say Deo, right?
Badly. Wrong choice.
Like badly.
Yeah. Well, when it came on, my partner was like, she was like, what is this song? And I was like, the only reason I know this song is because when I was in dance school, in elementary school, one of the other children groups danced to this.
It's a really weird song. I couldn't tell you what it's about. But I do like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what it's for, other than just be like, see, it's like the original.
They should have picked a fun song.
Yes.
It was too slow.
Mm.
It was too slow.
And they did the song in its entirety, and it's a long song. It's like
Yeah.
got like a whole midsection. I think they were just going for something kind of grandiose and also kind of a throwback, but like,
Didn't work.
yeah, and they kind of missed the whole like. What's fun about the Deo scene in the original film is how out of the blue it comes. Like nobody sitting in that original audience expected the characters to just start lip syncing to this weird like calypso song. You know what I mean? Like and so yeah, so just sticking it like kind of shoehorning it in at the end just as like a throwback with this kind of like long song, this long dramatic song, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. to
No,
me.
and it was way too long of a song. Like,
Yeah.
I love, like, because as I was watching it, I was like, oh, I appreciate when somebody can use an entire song in a scene
Yeah.
if it works. And
Right.
this didn't work. Like, the only one I can think of that really does work as the whole song, which maybe there is the whole Deo song in, like, the first one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects at the end. He does the whole Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, sorry. Free
Freebird?
Bird.
He does the
Yeah.
whole
He does the
Freebird
whole
at the end of that
Freebird.
movie?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was like just randomly naming Leonard Skinner songs.
Impressive.
But it works. It totally works. This, I was like, oh my God, how many times are we going to have to hear the chorus of
Yes,
MacArthur
yes,
Park?
yes, yes, yes. MacArthur Park is frightening in the dark. I know it from the Weird Al Yankovic parody.
Yes.
Jurassic Park.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All the dinosaurs are running wild. Someone let T-Rex out in the rain. Yeah.
I thought you were going to keep going.
What
No.
are the next couple of lines? Now I think that they might harm me, because they sure don't act like Barney.
Oh.
Legendary.
How
Absolutely.
come every time that we talk about anything, it comes back to Weird Al with you?
He's just the cornerstone of my personality. I can't help it. Can we? I'm experimenting with new games. I don't. Have you thought of any new games?
I have not. I think we're done with. I think we should be done with Where's the Dick.
I agree. Yeah, Where's the Dick?
That game is over.
Played out.
That game's over. What's the new game?
What if it was Armchair Filmmaker?
What does that mean?
So that means that what we're gonna do is say, like, what's one fix that you would have made to this movie to make it better?
Just one fix.
You get one
hard.
big fix.
It's hard because it's not like one thing would fix it. It's like a bunch of small things.
You get one choice. You get one veto to Tim Burton's plan. And how would you use it to the maximal effect?
We have to veto something? It can't just be like a plot change?
Well, yeah, I mean, a plot change is a veto,
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
It was his plan, right?
I think I would have made the Monica Bellucci plot.
Disagree.
The plot. No, I think I would have done that because it's so vastly different from the original. It doesn't involve Beetlejuice marrying Lydia again. Like, do we need to see that in every movie? I think that should have been the plot. I think I would have left Danny DeVito in just a little longer.
Yeah.
Made him
10
a
minutes
character.
more.
Yeah.
Saved the movie.
Would have saved the movie. Yeah, I think. Oh, it doesn't bother me when I watch it, but I think I would have cut the teenage boy plot for her. So.
Oh, wow. That's like a huge driving plot of the movie. You would.
Yeah, but these are two plots. I'm getting rid of one and keeping the other, and there's probably other plots still in there that are too much.
Okay. Fair. Respect.
But yeah, I would get rid of the driving plot, I guess.
Respect.
And it would be so easy to find a different reason for them to go there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, jeez.
Do you want to think while I go?
Yeah, because the thing that came to my mind was letting Danny DeVito stay in longer.
Oh, sure. You can say the same thing.
No, I'm going to come with something.
Okay. So mine is there's just one, like, so something that's so huge in the first movie is Alec Baldwin and what's her name? They're this dead couple who are trying to get rid of the Dietzes from their house, right? Like, that's like, they are the main characters of the movie. And in this movie, they are explained away in a single line. And it's when Lydia says they found a loophole and moved on. And I, hated that. I hated that. I thought, God, just what a... I don't know. Just like, what a way to do away with the main character of your fucking movie that you made. Like, and it just speaks to the... I don't know. It speaks to I feel perhaps a lack of thought throughout. And if we had had those characters in there, maybe there would have been like some interesting dynamic between Lydia and them coming back after all this time. Her turning her power to speak to dead people into like a franchise. I don't know. It just, it irked me. And it, when I started this conversation asking whether this feels like it's an actual Beetlejuice movie, I think maybe one of the biggest things that weighed on my mind was the total and utter exclusion of those characters. It really bothered me.
All right, I have my answer. So, one of the earliest scenes is the whole, Sallyfication of that.
When she staples herself back together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a long scene.
Yes.
And I think that what I would do is, from that point forward, have made it a sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas instead of Beetlejuice.
Oh, shit.
But would it have started with
live
Beetlejuice
action.
Could
Beetlejuice
have, like,
first and then just like
collided the
fucked
worlds.
with everyone?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty great.
Beetlejuice
Okay.
is trying to marry Lydia, and Jack Skellington busts in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
I want to see that mashup. Those two worlds
Yeah,
collide.
exactly.
Well, you know what's funny about that, though, is that would have had... I think some of the magic of the original film is the feeling that, like, anything might happen. There's, like, a real randomness
Yeah.
to it
You
don't
that makes
know.
it fun.
But it's a different kind of randomness than this, which is because this one's very random, but not in the right way.
Well, I don't know if it's in the wrong way. Like, what is the wrong way of random? Like we already expect...
This was the wrong way.
Oh my god.
You can't expect the unexpected, right? Like you have to.
Like we already know.
We already
this
know the
world.
crazy shit that happens in this world. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be fun to like have this total intrusion that nobody expects?
Yeah.
It would have it would have felt fun again and dangerous and
Because you could
exciting.
expect Corpse Bride, because that's basically the same thing with the underworld. And
Right,
stuff too.
right.
But Nightmare
Right.
Before Christmas happening here,
Right,
No,
right.
and would they be life size? Like, would Jack Skellington be the same
It
size?
would be like
as...
Mufasa. Right
Okay,
now, you
okay.
know? It's like this is a live action version,
Right.
But
Okay.
it's going to be those characters.
And would it be
that
a
come in.
musical?
Obviously.
Okay.
And talk
I just
about the-
want Beetlejuice is going to be the speaking voice is going to be Michael Keaton, and the singing voice is going to be Danny Elfman.
Nice.
Okay, love this.
And I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And talk about the potential. I don't know. Never mind. Forget it. Oh man.
Now I want that
Brilliant.
movie.
I
I
do
want that.
too.
I'm so disappointed that movie doesn't
And I
exist now.
like. I hate. I'm also super duper over like multiverse bullshit, but like
In this case.
in this case, I would allow it.
This is the multiverse we didn't know we needed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
We never saw it coming.
No. It's totally unexpected.
Well, y'all.
But we need one more thing.
What do we need?
We need a sound bite.
We do need a soundbite.
What is it? Like, what kind? Go on.
So we close out all of our episodes with our guests just like making a noise
Oh, God.
as like the last thing. It could be anything. Some people like quote the movie. Some people just like make like weird noises.
Well, in that case, I'm going to say my my second favorite line of the movie as one of my favorite characters of cinema. I swear, the afterlife is so random.
Perfect. Oh my god.